with poetry to be read for you, with you, and replay viewers. I'm delighted that you're here watching also. You can just kick back and imagine that we are here together at the same time. Some of the things that we do here include listening to the poetry, sometimes reflecting back some of the lines to the poetry. Sometimes we chat with one another, and you can do that in the comments just as if you were live. So I'm going to start with Rainer Rilke, who's one of my favorite thinkers. Probably my favorite book is one of his called Letters to a Young Poet. Strongly suggested for anyone who is creative. So here we go. It's called Wild Thorn Bush. How it stands there against the dark of this late rainy hour, young and clean, swaying its generous branches, yet absorbed in its essence as rose, with wide open flowers already appearing, each unsought and each uncared for, so endlessly exceeding itself and ineffably from itself come forth. It calls the wanderer, who in evening contemplation passes on the road. Oh, see me standing here. See how unafraid I am and unprotected. I have all I need. Hello, Kelly. How are you doing? Good to see you. We got off to a quiet start with some Rainer Rilke, one of my favorite philosophers, poets, incredible people. I've never read him here, which is shocking. So I'm glad that you made it. I've had a life-changing day today. Yes, this is like a phenomenal day for me. I mean, every day is phenomenal, but today I did something I've never done before, and I'll share it with you first, Kelly, since we're here together, just the two of us. Today, I went kayaking for the first time, and it is something that I wanted to go canoeing. I loved canoeing as a child, and so I decided that I would go kayaking as in fact, this is like a familiar story. I decided that I would go kayaking as a close second, but not nearly as cool as canoeing. And I had a blast. I had a blast, Kelly. I was out there on the water for 2 hours, and I've never done this. And there was one point when it was a private lesson because I did not want to frighten anyone with me getting in and out of the kayak. So it was just the two of us out on the Delaware River. And about halfway through the lesson, he was giving me some instruction, and I realized I thought that we were on the same over on the beach because it was so there was no hey, Miss M. There was no bobbing, no wobbliness. I was so at home out there. It was amazing. So, Kelly, thanks for letting me talk about that because I've been so excited to talk about it. The next poems we're going to read are from this, which is one of my favorites. It's called The Path of Kindness. I know it's backwards for you. I apologize. I need to fix that setting. This is edited by James Cruz, and we're actually going to read a poem by him from this collection. I'm grateful y'all are here. If you would be sure to like this video, I would appreciate it very much. Um, we're going to start with a poem called The Most Important Thing by Julia Fehrenbacher. The most important thing. I am making a home inside myself, a shelter of kindness where everything is forgiven, everything allowed, a quiet patch of sunlight to stretch out without hurry, where all that has been banished and buried is welcomed, spoken, listened to, released. A fiercely friendly place I can claim as my very own. I am throwing arms open to the whole of myself, especially the fearful, fault finding, falling apart, unfinished parts, knowing every seed and weed, every drop of rain has made the soil richer. I will light a candle, pour a hot cup of tea, gather around the warmth of my own blazing fire. I will howl if I want to, knowing this flame can burn through any perceived problem, any prescribed perfectionism, any lying limitation, every heavy thing. I am making a home inside myself. where grace blooms in grand and glorious abundance, a shelter of kindness that grows all the truest things. I whisper hallelujah to the friendly sky. Watch now as I burst into blossom. That's a good one. Miss M, I saw that you like that line. I'm making a home inside of myself. And isn't that a kind of home where we'd all like to live, just as she described it? It's beautiful. All right. The next poem I'm going to read is called Oh, hi, Catherine. Okay, that's totally cool. That's totally cool, Catherine. We're glad that you're here. This poem was by Tracy K. Smith, who is a former poet laureate of the United States. We always love to have former poet laureates and current. I'm not even sure who the current poet laureate is. I know there is one. Tracy K. Smith wrote a poem called "Song." I think of your hands all those years ago, learning to maneuver a pencil or struggling to fasten a coat. The hands you'd sit on in class, the nails you chewed absently, the clumsy authority with which they'd sail to the air when they knew you knew the answer. I think of them lying empty at night, of the fingers wrangling something from your nose or buried in the cave of your ear, all the things they did cautiously, pointedly, obedient to the saddest whim, their shames, how they failed, when they won't forget year after year or now, resting on the wheel or the edge of your knee. I'm trying to decide what they feel when they wake up and discover my body is near, before touch, pushing off the ledge of the easy quiet dancing between us. A poem of motherhood. Hi, good to see you, Jason. And I don't know CP Bricks, but nice to see you. We're reading poetry today. We do that around here on Thursdays at 4:30 Eastern time. So we always find really great stuff, and hopefully you can relate to some of it, take something away with you. Um, okay, here we go. This next one is by a poet named Mark Nepo, and the poem is called Drinking There. By the way, if you could, I would really appreciate before I read this poem. I just want to remind you all to like this video if you can, that would be great. Here we go. Drinking There. No matter how many conversations I start, they all end with me kneeling at the same deep well. I'm and drinking there. I remember who I am. I rise from that drinking able to see again that we are at heart the same. And the secret wound you show me there is my wound, which I've hidden for so long. And the secret joy you bring into the open is my joy, which I thought I had lost. Experience has us meet in the most unexpected ways until we're forced to show the soft center that never dies, until our soul appears in the world like a pearl before it hardens, until the gift of life stirs in our hand like a tuft of feathers that needs to be loved into a wing. Whew, thank you. Now, this book is Above Ground by Clint Smith. And I'm pulling this out because one of our friends here, he's not here right now, and his name is, you all know him, Pause and Play Nola. I call him Play Nola. But I want him to read this book. This Clint Smith is an amazing poet and writer from New Orleans. And this poetry is, it's just incredible. So here we go. Let me find a good one. Okay. All right. So here's one. Okay. Ode to the bear hug. Don't we like bear hugs? I love bear hugs. Ode to the bear hug. As soon as I open the door, I set my bag down and crouch into the appropriate position and growl this guttural invitation into my arms. You shriek and you smile and you move your small feet as fast as you possibly can in my direction, which sometimes means you fall. But when you look up, I'm still there. And my arms are still open like the universe in need of a planet to make it worth something. You pick yourself back up and your body wobbles while you regain your balance and you laugh and I laugh. And your mother looks at us and says, "My silly, silly, silly boys." And when you finally reach my arms, I fall back and you fall on top of me and we roll on the floor. And I say, bear hug, bear hug over and over again. Ah, that's a beautiful dad poem. Um, a lot of these are dad poems. I want Pause and Play Nola to read this book. Okay, this poem is called Tree Rings. Here we go. City Park in New Orleans has one of the largest collections of live oaks in the world. Over 1,000 acres of forest is sitting at the edge of uptown with streetcars tracing its outline like a parade of new moons. On the southeast side of the park, past the botanical garden, over the old bridge, near the elbow of the little lake where the geese hold court, is the tree my mother used to take us to. How I love this tree. How its branches bent down to the soil as if it had been long waiting to scoop us up. How the Spanish moss tickled my bare ankles as if trying to make me laugh. How, if you stepped back and squinted, the tree looked like a tangle of dragons frozen mid dance. We had no way of knowing how old the tree was, but my mother used to say that this tree had been at the park since she was a little girl, and that we were climbing the same branches she and her siblings had climbed all those decades before. I found comfort in the story that something had sprouted from the soil that I shared with my little girl my mother once was. I could close my eyes and imagine climbing with her, swinging our legs, fingers clinging to the soft bark, waiting to see who would fall first. Tree rings. So now I know another fun fact about New Orleans is that this park, City Park, has one of the largest collections of live oak trees in the country. I did not know this. I love finding out which places and which trees are famous in those areas, and I try to hug those trees because I'm a tree hugger. So I'm so glad you all are here. It's a quiet day today, fewer people than usual, and that's okay. It's totally good. We're going to keep reading for a little bit longer. Let's see, what should we read next? I'll read one more from this book, and then we'll move on to another poet laureate. Uh, 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 uh. Okay, this is a poem about punctuation. It's called Punctuation. So I'm going to read it how it's punctuated so that you can get it, the translation. In fact, poetry is meant usually to be read aloud. So here we go. I went to the store filled with water. I went to the store filled with water. The store is submerged, or I am crying in the aisles. There is something in your eyes I can't get out. There is something in your eyes I can't get out. I am trying to help, or I am trying to run away. I am scared you don't really know me. I am scared you don't really know me. I'm expressing concern about where we're going, or I am making a declaration of where we are. The wind carried my mother's voice away after the storm came. The wind carried my mother's voice after the storm came. My mother is grieving all that she lost, or I'm grieving the loss of my mother. There are new flowers on trees I climbed every day as a child. There are new flowers. There are new flowers on the trees I climbed every day as a child. I'm relishing the cycle of renewal, or I am lamenting that something has taken my place. It's hard for me to say I'm not always the man I want to be. It is hard for me to say I am not always the man I want to be. I am trying to be honest with myself. or I'm trying to be honest with you. Such an interesting character. I would love to meet Clint Smith. One of my biggest delights was I commented on something, I think on his Instagram, and he responded to me. And he might as well have been, I mean, it's just like, he's just so phenomenal. So this one is Above Ground by Clint Smith. Another book I have by him is How the Word is Passed. I would love to read How the Word is Passed with a group. It's pretty intense for me to read alone because there's a lot of really tough stuff in there. And there's an adult version and a middle grade version for students. And I would love just putting it out there if anybody would like to read that book with me, the middle grade version. I just can't, it's some of it's so tough. I just can't read it by myself. Okay. This is called You Are Here, Poetry in the Natural World, edited, curated by Ada Limon. I might have read some of these from before. By the way, Catherine, I saw you said hi, everyone. It's really quiet in here tonight, quieter than usual, or more quiet than usual. So, Catherine, I'll stop reading poetry for a second. I'm not sure who else is here 'cause I can't tell. But today I did something for the first time in my life, and it turned the ordinary Thursday into one of the best days of my life. And what I did today was something I didn't think that I could do, something I never thought that I would do. Something that I first thought was like, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, so it was like a second class type of thing. Um, and that was today I went kayaking for the first time. And my biggest concerns, of course, were getting into and out of the kayak, because I'm not young and I'm not limber and I am not thin. And I got in and out. It was that both of those were interesting. Getting out was hilarious. I I got out. And it wasn't one of those kayaks where you sit on top, which is what I was hoping for. It was a kayak where you sit inside, and I'm like, "How am I gonna sit inside that kayak? My legs are not gonna like this at all." And the funny thing was, when I got out, my legs were totally fine. They were actually happy. They felt great. I know. Can you believe it, Catherine? I could not believe it. I could not believe that I did that. I could not believe. I wanted to cancel. I, I had a hard time finding it, the place where I was going, and I said, uh, if I had paid him online, I would have called and canceled, but I didn't. I had to pay cash. I think it's because I've been walking. It could be. Could be. And I knew that getting out was gonna be interesting, but it was just so much fun. I literally don't know how I got out of the darn thing was that I listened to how he told me I might get out. I tried one, it wasn't working. I'm sure I was making some pretty strange faces. And so then I said, okay, let me just think about how I'm going to do this and then just let me feel my way into it with my body. And I somehow leveraged my chubby body out of that thing. And I was like on the edge of the Delaware River, that same famous Delaware River. And I crawled. I flopped myself over and I crawled. I crawled up the little beach there. But I saw sights that I would never have seen if I was not in the river. And that's what was so fun because when you are walking alongside the river or overhead or whatever, a plane or there's like forests inside that river. And I saw fish that had spawned and had not made it afterwards, trying to get back to the ocean. They used so much energy, they didn't make it back. I saw carp creating baby carp. That was something. That was a sight I never thought I would see. So it was amazing. And I'm really glad you're here, Catherine, so I could tell you that. I told Kelly when we first got here. It's just amazing. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know that I did this because I wrote when to read what. So I've read from this book before, so I'll try to pick a couple. Okay. There's a poem that I wrote a note. What glossary do you carry with you? I'm not sure what I meant by that. Oh, there's Kelly. I didn't know if you were still here. I was just telling my story again. I don't know if I told you, Kelly, that I literally crawled up the beach. Well, crawled from the I crawled from the um like 2 inches of water just out of the water and then got myself up from there. But I just think that was so hilarious. That needs to be a story. That needs to be in a story. That would be really fun storytelling story about doing things that you don't think that you can do, and I did it. And I think that's really powerful. When we do things that we say I didn't like I told the teacher when I got there, I said to him, okay, here's my goals. My goal is to meet you, to sign this paper, to pay you. And then if I can get out in the water, great. But if I can't, that's okay too. And he's like, oh, we're going to go out in the water. You're going to be out there for 2 hours. We're going to do this. And I was like, well, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm glad that you think I can do this because I don't really think I can do this. I don't know what got into me signing up for this class. I still don't know. Like I said to him, I don't know what got into me that night. And this teacher, the other thing is, there were so much synchronicity, and there were so many strange coincidences, that really told me I was in the right place at the right time with the right person. And, he shared the name his name was John, same name as my younger brother. To get to the t when I was getting lost, I literally this is strange, I pulled into the largest Appalachian Trail parking lot in New Jersey that I had not been to since I was a little girl. That's a place my dad took us hiking when I was probably 5 and my sister was probably 7. And all the times I've hiked the AT and I've asked myself, is this where I hiked with dad? Is this where I hiked with dad? I pulled in that parking lot and I said, I don't have time today, but I'm going to come back here. And I called John and I said, John, I'm on Route 80. I'm at I'm pulled off Appalachian Trail parking. Am I in the right place? And he gave me directions from there, verbal directions. And I was like, oh my goodness. There's more, but it was magical. Magical. Doing things you don't think you can do is really great. Okay. So let me find a poem to read you. I have to be careful. I don't want to read anything really sad. There's one called Night Shifts in a Convalescent Hospital. Don't want to read that. Hi, CL. How are you? Good to see you. You missed my hilarious story, which I'm sure I'll tell again because I went kayaking for the first time today. Okay, so we're gonna find another poem. Okay, here's one by um Paisley Rectal. Rectal. Paisley, but you backwards. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's about a tree dying. I don't want to read that. Sorry, we're not gonna read that one. Uh, okay, this has a magnolia tree too. It's a poem called "It Was Summer, the Wind Blew." Okay, cool. I'd love it if you watch the replay. It's been a really quiet afternoon in here. There's been very few people, and that's totally fine. It's a different vibe when there's fewer people. It was summer. The wind blew away from me, and I stayed here thinking about a certain mountain. Things got green, then forgot. And in their forgetting, remembered everything that was not grass or me. My son forgot he could not swim, then emerged tall as laughter, hidden as the lesson in a song. He forgot how to tie his shoes, then learned how to draw a face and tie it to a string and run far off into the place only he could go. I chased him, but but he just grew larger. For a week he became a carpenter. Hammering filled my heart. My heart went to the hardware store and bought all the napping spatulas. It was summer. So I let them stay up all night, or they let me. We swung from the magnolia, our great leaves fell, it remained our friend. Each day was that same sweet holiday that never ended until the windows got soft. It was summer. Candles came on like televisions. That was the last time things got real. And that was just kind of a sort of strange little ditty there. I did not read it beforehand. Okay, here's one. I'm going to read this one because of the title, Beneath the Perseids. Have you ever experienced the Perseids? Their constellation that, I'm remembering seeing the Perseids. No, it's not a constellation. Is that a meteor shower or is it a constellation? Anyone who knows, I'd appreciate knowing. CL says, my neighbor has a huge magnolia tree. It's beautiful. Is it one of the southern magnolias? Oh, yeah, you're in Florida. It would be a southern magnolia. I love tulip magnolias. They're my favorite kind of magnolia. Love them. Love them. They're little meteors. Well, thank you, CL. Okay. Beneath the Perseids. Raw cotton on the road appears as the dead appear in us, slightly bucking, unbidden yet called, not speaking per se, but not speaking. Their scent on our hands because we lifted a stone from the bloodless river, pressed its exile to our eye. I. I did not want to begin with the dead. Their urgent dust and disquisitions, their bees, being emperor and everywhere, put my hand. My hands led me into the road to pull at the cotton matted to the fresh tar. Forget the stars, wasting themselves across the sky. I was there for waste, for the Gorgon's head held in Perseus's hand, for the sweat of stars sliding across his sword, the winged stallion bursting forth in the Gorgon's blood. Blood and corpse fill the sky. Raw's cotton gauzes the black wounds of the screaming road. I. That turned out to be a lot more gory than I was expecting. A lot of the stuff, the constellations are warlike. Um, I don't know what I was going to say. Okay, I'm looking for one more. Ah, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I really don't know it. I really don't know it. Thank you. I'm sorry I did not curate better. It was a busy day. It's a busy day. I was gonna say if Kelly, there's a poem in here called Central Central Iowa Scenic Overlook. And one of my most popular recent videos is about a rest stop in Iowa. So I need to go all all Iowa themed soon. Okay, so this is good. 20 minutes in the backyard. Yeah, so I need to go to Iowa and just hang out, visit Iowa places. I really do like Iowa, actually. So that's what's so funny about it, is I do enjoy Iowa. All right. Alberto Rios wrote 20 minutes in the backyard. This would be the last poem of the evening or the afternoon, whatever. 20 minutes in the backyard. Okay. The house sparrow flies to the ground to get the seed that has fallen from the feeder. In doing so, it flies through a bit of spider web, which works as something like a phone call to the spider, who then answers with a hello? Careful and very quiet, but nobody is there. This happens a lot to spiders. It makes them grumble about their neighbors who walk across a spider's curious lawn. But the complaint is hollow. Sometimes someone is indeed there, a fly, a moth, any number and manner of very small beast. They try to run away but are tripped up by the long, thin fingers of the web. The small thing quivers, asks politely, please, to be let go, followed by a sincere apology. But a spider does not have ears. This explains why it does not hear the house sparrow swoop up into the air high enough to reach the spider. Few leaves rustle, while the whole world simply moves forward. This is the Saturday business of the immense backyard conglomerate at work. If one listens, one might hear the great bustling city of it all, the small sirens and screams, the caterpillars backing up, the gecko at their mysterious work. I love that poem, 20 Minutes in the Backyard by Alberto Rios. It reminds me a little bit of the Dr. Seuss book, Horton Hears a Who, where Horton the elephant hears a town on a dust speck. And he's saying, the other people are going to boil the dust speck. And what I remember is the chant of boil that dust speck, boil that dust speck, boil, boil that dust speck. And they're the who's inside are saying, we're here, we're here, we're here. That's what that poem reminds me of. It's a day for laughter in Julie land, and I'm so grateful those for those of you who are here to experience it. This is truly a day I'll always remember, June 4th, 2026. It's my friend Mel's birthday, and it is a glorious, fruitful day where, for the first time in my life, I crawled on the beach of the Delaware River. Maybe I'll do that again someday. Um, in a different part, different beach. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Kelly, for hanging on. Kelly was here in the beginning. She's here at the end. The birds are singing. I know you can't hear them, but the birds are singing in delight. So I will be here tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern if any of you are around and want to have conversation. And I'll be back here on Monday and then back again a week from now. So thanks so much, and we'll talk with you again soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you for your support.